Florida is one of the top states in the United States for theme parks, featuring major destinations such as Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, and Busch Gardens. Most of the state's major amusement parks are between the Orlando and Tampa areas, and with these parks come one of the best coaster lineups of any state in the country. This is one of the reasons that I am proud to call Florida my home state, and I have managed to ride all the major coasters that this state has to offer. In this video, I will be ranking my top 10 favorite coasters in the state of Florida. However, I must warn you that my opinions are going to be very controversial among enthusiasts. This is especially because you will not see coasters such as Kumba, Incredible Hulk, or even Montu, which these are still great coasters, but just not top 10 worthy for me. However, I will shout out a couple of honorable mentions that barely missed the cut. But before I do that, be sure you're subscribed with post notifications on so that you won't miss a single upload. One coaster I would like to give an honorable mention to is SheiKra at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay in Tampa, Florida. This was the first B&M dive coaster I ever rode, and it is my personal favorite, even outranking coasters like Griffon and Valravn. Even though its 200-foot drop is sort of a one-trick pony, it is super intimidating and stomach-dropping, especially because of the anticipation sitting on that holding brake. Also, its restraints and layout allow for maximum airtime compared to a coaster like Valravn with the vest restraints, as well as a slightly smoother ride experience than Griffon. I feel like there was some slightly awkward moments at Griffon, but that's just my opinion. I would also like to give an honorable mention to Pipeline the Surf Coaster at SeaWorld Orlando in Orlando, Florida. This B&M surf coaster is one of the newest additions to its park, and it is a revival of the old B&M stand-up coaster model with a featured gimmick that allows for improved airtime moments, believe it or not. I think B&M did a great job bringing this model back with an intense and airtime-packed layout, but I will admit that this coaster has suffered from the modern B&M rattle. Kicking off the top 10 is Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando in Orlando, Florida. Opening in 2022, this Premier Rides launch coaster is another one of the park's newer coaster additions. It is designed to be sort of a family launch coaster, but I find it to be a very thrilling one, especially because of its backwards beyond vertical spike and its abundance of ejector airtime moments. The ride features an LSM swing launch that reaches speeds of 52 miles per hour to get over an 80-foot top hat, followed by various airtime hills and overbank turns. Its fun-packed layout makes it my personal favorite coaster from the manufacturer, although, for one, I am yet to ride Alpenfury. That looks like it would probably be my favorite. And another thing is I do struggle with the compact train design that is very difficult to get in and out of on like modern Premier trains, but I do hope this is an issue that the manufacturer can eventually fix. At the number 9 spot is Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay in Tampa, Florida. This Intamin launch coaster is another one that is sort of meant to cater towards a family audience, but as the pattern will follow on this list, it is still a thrilling one. Additionally, the coaster features a Heartline roll-in version, which you typically don't see on most family coasters. It features 3 LSM launches, the fastest of which reaching a speed of 60 miles per hour, as well as various twists and turns that mimic a wild cheetah's movements while navigating a sprawling layout near a cheetah exhibit. This coaster features some fun launches and laterals, as well as some solid airtime moments despite the slightly restrictive ride restraints, and its smoothness still holds up even after 15 years of operation. At the number 8 spot is Tron Light Cycle Run at Magic Kingdom in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. This Vekoma launched motorbike coaster is one of 2 Disney World coasters to make this list, and it is the newest and most thrilling coaster to open in its respective Disney park, unless you count the Big Thunder Mountain Retrack, but I don't think that really counts. The ride features a very punchy launch that reaches speeds of nearly 60 miles per hour, and it navigates through both an outdoor pavilion and an indoor themed section that emulates the experience of being a light cycle rider in the video games featured in the film series. I always find these launched motorbike coasters to be very exhilarating experiences, and Vekoma has managed to cook one up with a smooth and thrilling layout. My only complaint about this coaster is that it is a little bit short in duration, but there is another coaster that solves this issue and adds even more to it. At the number 7 spot is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure at Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. This Intamin launched motorbike coaster is the first of several Universal coasters to make this list. Not only does the ride navigate over 5,000 feet of track, but it offers some of the best theming of any roller coaster in the world. There are about 7 LSM launches and boosts throughout this ride, combined with various twists and turns, and the ride features a story involving the character from the Harry Potter series, as well as various creatures he encounters. Additionally, there is a vertical rollback and a 17-foot drop track that adds some extra thrill to the experience. Overall, this is another exhilarating, thrilling, and very smooth ride combined with some excellent storytelling and theming. At the number 6 spot is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. This is a Vekoma-launched spinning coaster themed to the film series, and it features my favorite coaster experience in all the American Disney parks. The spinning sensation combined with the intergalactic theming makes for a breathtaking experience. Plus, the ride is extremely smooth and goes faster than you might expect, reaching speeds of over 60 miles per hour. The onboard soundtrack, which features a randomly selected song from a list of songs, also adds significantly to this awesome, exhilarating experience. At the number 5 spot is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando in Orlando, Florida. This B&M hypercoaster was the first hyper that I ever rode, and for years, I'd say it was the best coaster that Florida had to offer. In my opinion, it is still my favorite B&M hyper, even including some of the ones I've ridden in other states. This is mainly because of its stomach-dropping 200-foot drop and consistent floater and ejector airtime moments, especially in its first half. Additionally, the ride is still very smooth even after 10 years of operation, and it is even much smoother than the park's newest B&M additions, although I don't know if that's really saying much. Enthusiasts can say what they want to say, but until I find one that tops it, this B&M hyper is still my favorite one. At the number 4 spot is Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. This Intamin launch coaster was the first coaster in Florida to open that tops Mako for me, and it was also my first new coaster after starting this channel around the time the ride opened in 2021. This coaster features one of the most thrilling layouts in the Universal Orlando Resort, featuring 2 LSM launches reaching a top speed of 70 miles per hour in its fastest launch, as well as a 155-foot top hat, and some of the craziest inversions I've seen on a coaster, such as the Zero-G stall and a Mosasaurus roll over the water. That's a pretty freaky sensation, I'm not gonna lie. This coaster offers everything from intensity to airtime to even hang time, and I think the only thing that holds this coaster back from being one of my absolute favorites, which I feel like this doesn't really get talked about, is its slight rattle, but it's still significantly better than even some of the new coasters B&M has put out, and it still features one of the greatest coaster layouts ever designed. Now, this would have been my personal favorite Universal coaster, even for most of, say, last year, but a more recent experience has moved a couple of newer coasters up for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and pair number 3 and number 2 together and say that they're both Stardust racers at Universal's Epic Universe in Orlando, Florida. Despite popular opinion, I've actually found the Photon or yellow side to be the side I slightly prefer, rather than the Pulsar or green side, although they're both very similar in quality. Each side features 2 LSM launches, reaching up to 62 miles per hour, 1 inversion, and various airtime moments. But the reason I prefer the yellow side is because it offers a better visual during its barrel roll down drop over the green side. It also features a very smooth layout and stunning views of the rest of the park throughout the ride. However, there is one coaster that tops this pair of dueling launch coasters. Although the best coaster in Florida is heavily debated, especially between this top 4, the choice for me is easily Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay in Tampa, Florida. This RMC Hyper Hybrid coaster is one of the most intense and chaotic rides I have ever experienced, and it is a top 3 worthy coaster overall based on the roller coasters I have ridden. It is the tallest and fastest coaster in Florida, reaching a height of 206 feet and a speed of 76 miles per hour. It features some of the most powerful ejector airtime moments out there, as well as a couple of wild inversions, including a fast-paced death roll. This coaster's pacing is relentless, and it keeps its pace all the way until the brake run, making for an experience that makes you question what even just happened as you abruptly approach the brakes. I do wish it was a slightly longer ride, but if it was, I will admit, it might not be quite as consistently wild as it is, and for that reason, it is my favorite coaster in Florida. I know a lot of these choices were controversial, but I still hope you enjoyed my ranking of my top 10 favorite coasters in Florida. If you have any opinions about what coasters should and shouldn't have made the cut, which I imagine a lot of people will, feel free to share in the comments below. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications for more theme park related content like this. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye guys.